What's up everyone, it's Kadi with MoneyVest. So markets here somewhat flat to slightly higher with the NASDAQ pushing up over 19 basis points, the S&P up over 17 basis points to 47.54, and the Dow Jones here slightly down, basically flat, still trading above 37,300 on the day. We did have inflation numbers come out today. We also had the consumer sentiment numbers and of course the market overall in terms of the momentum we have seen. This has been the longest winning streak since 2017 for the markets as well. So hope you all enjoyed this video and find it helpful. If you do, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. And of course, links to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. There is a 16% annual discount that's available until the end of December. So until the end of this month, you can access, of course, all the members only 40 plus ad-free members only private content and videos, access to all the spreadsheets, including my fair values, my entire watch list, and of course the 20 plus Discord channels, including trade alerts and ideas, and of course buy and sell alerts, options alerts. Everything is going to be included with that as well. So link's going to be down below. So starting with the market heat map, we did have a little bit of a mixed day with Microsoft pushing higher, Meta slightly down, Google up, Amazon down, Apple down, NVIDIA, Broadcom, and AMD slightly pulling back, with Intel rallying close to 2%. So it was a little bit of a mixed day, although a lot of liquidity starting to go into industrials, healthcare, consumer defensives. I did a video on both Procter & Gamble and Johnson & Johnson. Definitely do check them out. And of course, energy, real estate, materials, utilities, all those sectors doing somewhat better compared to the big tech Magnificent Seven companies. So consumer cyclicals and technology and comm services, all three which have those big tech companies in them, were underperforming and down on the day, except for comm services. Technology was slightly higher. Everything else was up at least 30, 40, 50 basis points to as much as 60 basis points when it comes to healthcare. Over the last 1 week, of course, comm services has been the best performing sector. And in the last 1 month, of course, it's been all green with a lot of momentum over the last 1 month. And every single sector, 11 sectors out of 11, are pushing higher. Sugar prices, soybean, we got lean hogs, platinum cotton, all pushing higher, with orange juice selling off. Volatility also lower, heating oil, lumber prices, and palladium also selling off. But Bitcoin here almost up to 44,000, and Ether just a little bit under 2,300 as well at the moment. And S&P 500 closes higher Friday, registers its longest weekly win streak since 2017. So this has been, well over 6 years that we haven't seen such a strong win streak from the market. So this has been absolutely phenomenal. And this right here was from Greg Basuk, Chief Executive Officer at AXS Investments, and he says, and I quote, "We believe that today's PCE data, which the Fed weighs heavily in its review of inflation status, further cemented the downward trajectory of inflation, and we think that's another catalyst for today's excitement by investors that a soft landing seems closer to be assured, and it underscores the breadth and depth of today's holiday rally, which we think is going to bode well for investors moving into 2024 as well." So this right here was the PCE numbers. And we did come in line with expectations, and in some accounts we came in a little bit lower. So month over month we came in at 0.2% versus 0.3% expected, and of course year over year we came in at 2.6, which was significantly lower than 2.9 and also lower than the prior number of 3%. So not only are we seeing inflation growth rate slow down significantly, we're also seeing prices to some extent going down on a month over month basis, because we actually did see month over month negative 0.1%. In other words, we are seeing some deflation on a headline basis, and core PCE month over month 0.1%, and year over year sitting now at 3.2, which obviously is a significantly lower than where we were, I guess, 6 months ago or even 12 months ago in June of last year. Obviously, we kind of peaked even June of this year. It was very, very high. And of course, from those levels, we have come down significantly. And consumer sentiment coming in slightly better at 69.7, and inflation expectations on a year ahead basis is at 3.1%, which is quite comparable to what we have seen before. The prior number was also 3.1%. And of course, the Federal Reserve's target is 2%, so maybe slightly higher than the Fed's target is what the market and the consumers are expecting from inflation. Now going over to VIX, it did drop back down 4.5%. So we did see a very, very small minor spike of 25%. And right now we're starting to roll right back down a little bit on the volatility. Bitcoin here is again starting to move back up to 44,000, although seeing a bit of a pullback once again. So there does seem to be a pretty important resistance right over here for Bitcoin, sitting roughly around $45,000. And of course, we're just consolidating sideways with some support sitting at 40K. So this right here, that $4,000 range is where Bitcoin's basically trading right now. Very much getting rejected at 44, getting supported at 40, and that's really where we are. When it comes to Ether, so a little bit under 2,300. So again, continues to trade inside this red rectangle and this resistance area, that's area of supply. And of course, that support level is going to stay put all the way down to as low as 1,500 to as much as this green rectangle, sitting roughly at $1,000 for Ether as well. So those right there are going to be some levels to watch for Ethereum. Now going over to crude oil, we are continuing to see a little bit of that rejection on this lower high on this downtrending channel. And that's exactly what we expected. This right here again continues to trade inside this lower high, lower highs and lower lows. And of course right now kind of validating that support a little bit. That's going to be sitting right over here. If you do end up breaking down, the next support is going to be $66, $67 per share or per barrel for crude oil moving forward. Talking about the 10-year yields, a little bit over 3.9%, so back over 3.9. We've been just kind of fluctuating back and forth between 3.9 and 4. We did dip below 3.9, came down to 3.8.5%, but then we're not right now starting to move back higher. Really, again, 2024 yields are what's going to drive overall equity returns and prices, and of course, mortgage rates and financing cost. So a lot of it depends and is kind of hinging on where yields go from here. We've already seen yields drop over 20%, but can they drop another 20%, or are they going to recover back a little bit further in 2024 is yet to be seen. I do believe that there is more potential for yields to drop further than there is for them to move back higher, but you just never know. There's so many variables when it comes to macroeconomics that it's very, very hard to predict. So I'd much rather look at the markets, assess the current situation, and of course, assess the risk reward given the market that we're in, not the market that we want to be in. Now, going over to the S&P 500 and of course the NASDAQ and the markets overall, very nice move to the upside, 17 basis points, continues to move up 47.54, drifting higher slowly and steadily. Support level is going to stay put at 47.27. So this right here is going to be that level to watch with a resistance all the way up to 47.54. So those right there are going to be some levels to watch for S&P, and support level is going to stay put at 47.27 all the way down to as low as 4,600 for the S&P 500 as well. Talking about the NASDAQ, and NASDAQ here also continues to move up 19 basis points higher, just a little bit over 15,000. Next resistance is going to be at 15,400. So that is going to be that next target and that next level as we've already talked about, and support level at 14,600, 14,400. Some of the very, very important key levels of support to watch for the NASDAQ. Of course, we continue to remain overbought right now, given where the markets are and given the technical rally we've seen from the markets. We're going into the last trading week of December of 2023, basically next week. So it is going to be a very, very important one. It might also be a shorter week considering we have Christmas. So we may only have 4 trading days left in 2023. I will be putting out a video going over very, very important things, key things to do and consider before the year ends. So we'll be talking about that in a more separate, more detailed video I'll be putting out over the next couple days for everyone to basically do before, of course, we close out the year. Apple here, on the other hand, 193, down about 0.5%, so getting rejected at this resistance at 198, 199, something that we have talked about, and support level is going to stay put down to 190, also in line somewhat with this higher low, so we'll continue to validate and monitor where Apple kind of pulls down to, but 190 is going to be that support level to watch for Apple moving forward. Talking about Amazon here also starting to consolidate sideways a little bit. It had a very nice breakout to the upside, and now we're just trading sideways with an elevated RSI and MACD. Next resistance and target's going to be all the way up to 161. So this right here is going to be that level to watch for Amazon, and a support level sitting put at roughly around $148. So this right here, of course, is going to be that support resistance all the way up to 161. All the way down to another support and green rectangle sitting right over here at around $134, $136 per share. Talking about Tesla, and Tesla here starting to once again trade sideways, down a little bit over 77 basis points. Still very much in the context of this uptrend, so very nice higher highs and higher lows. So this right here is the overall uptrend of higher highs and higher lows, and support level, of course, is going to stay put roughly here at $240 with a resistance all the way up to $269 to $270 for Tesla as well. So those right there are going to be some levels to watch for Tesla. Of course, RSI MACD has continued to move up very, very nicely for Tesla as well. So bullish long term, but of course, technically speaking, there is a lot of volatility. So support level is going to stay put at 240. I've already sold some calls up to as much as 275 because I do believe there's a lot of supply. There's a lot of resistance sitting for Tesla above 270. So we'll see if it actually breaks out above that level or if it gets rejected yet again. Next one on the list is going to be NVIDIA. And NVIDIA AMD here continues to trade sideways. Consolidate. AMD was slightly down. NVIDIA was slightly down. At a resistance, of course, at 500. Support level is going to stay put at 400. And we've just been consolidating sideways in that range of that $100 range for NVIDIA. And AMD's kind of gone through the same process as well, where it's down about 22 basis points. Support level is going to stay put at $130. So this right here is going to be that level all the way down to as low as $112 per share. And of course, that next resistance and target is going to be at 156 for advanced micro devices. So that is going to be that next resistance and target to watch for advanced micro devices. Support level is going to stay put at 130, 131 for AMD. Talking about PayPal, and PayPal here on the day slightly going sideways, a little bit over 35 basis points lower, and support level is going to stay put at $56. So that is going to be that support with a resistance all the way up to $65, $66 per share for PayPal. And of course, we have seen a very nice uptrend of higher highs and higher lows. And like I said, support level is going to stay put at $56, $57, resistance all the way up to $65. Visa here, on the other hand, consolidating sideways. I've got a fundamental analysis, full analysis on Visa coming up here very soon. Support level is going to stay put inside this green rectangle, sitting roughly between $245 and $250. Of course, it's trading at an all-time high. I would argue valuation's a little bit more on the expensive side here for Visa, but of course, the overall trend, the overall pattern has been very strong with these higher lows. And this right here have been the higher highs for Visa. And right now we're coming up to its resistance and that higher high. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a bit of a pullback kind of coming down to this green rectangle, sitting roughly between 245 and 250s. Talking about Meta platforms, and Meta here also just pulling back slightly 20 basis points. It's still within the context of this uptrend, very similar to Visa, making higher highs and higher lows, hitting a new 52-week high at 357. So if you do end up pulling back, which again is not going to be surprising, support level is going to stay put inside this green rectangle, sitting roughly between 320s and 325, 330s for Meta. Talking about Netflix, and Netflix here also starting to roll over a little bit, down almost 1%, but still above that support of 485. So this right here is still going to be that support level to watch for Netflix. And of course, the RSI MACD showing some signs of a potential pullback. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up breaking down here for Netflix and coming back down to 450. That is going to be that next support level to watch for Netflix. And again, this right here is the previous high. And right now we are seeing a little bit of that higher high formation for Netflix, but next support, like I said, at 45 down to 450 for this company. Talking about Google, and Google here slightly higher. It's surprisingly done well compared to its peers and hitting a new 52-week high at 143, coming up to its resistance again, kind of trading inside this red rectangle. So if it does end up breaking out of this resistance, the next target and resistance is going to be at $150 for Google. And of course, support level is going to stay put at 126 for this company as well. So lots of consolidation sideways for Google right now. We're still kind of trading in that range where we are going sideways, but now Google is showing some serious strength and signs of a potential breakout above 144 to maybe trade back up to its all-time highs. 151 is going to be that next resistance in case we get a breakout over 144. Microsoft, on the other hand, continues to consolidate sideways, so not really seeing a lot of momentum. So 28 basis points higher. MACD, RSI do show signs of some potential upside if we do cross over the signal line, if the RSI starts to trend back higher. Maybe there is potential for Microsoft to retrace back up to 384, 385, that all-time high. But right now we're kind of validating that support at 366. We've just been trading sideways in that range. Of course, if we do see a breakdown, 340 is going to be that next level of support to watch for Microsoft. And last but not least, we got Enphase and Costco. So Costco here, also green, I think, on the day, so a little bit more of a defensive stock, but up almost 1%, continues to rally, continues to move higher, so done really, really well. Even on a weekly time frame, it is incredibly overbought, so I'd be incredibly careful, of course, with Costco on the long side. It had a huge symmetrical triangle breakout, and it's just been on this massive rally, this parabolic rally over the last 6 to 7 weeks. So it's only a question of when, it's not a question of if, in my opinion, for when Costco is going to pull back and see a reasonable correction moving forward and some profit taking. And phase was up 10 basis points. On the week, it's up over 8%. So it's done incredibly well. And the next target, as we already know, is going to be 151. That is going to be that next resistance and support level is going to stay put at 130-196. In fact, it validated $132 on the day today. And then, of course, pushing back higher to almost 134. So hope you all enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Again, links to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. And I also want to mention that there is our sale, our fundamental analysis, technical analysis, options, and psychology. All the courses are currently on sale. Coupon code Santa Rally. Link's going to be down below. And as always, happy investing, and I'll see you all in the next video.